Hello, this is Claus Jensen presenting Game 4 of the 2012 World Chess Championship match between Anand and Gelfand. And I've been watching this game live, and therefore I'm once again able to bring you my thoughts on the game immediately after its conclusion. And in Game 4, Gelfand is white and Anand is black, and just as in Game 2, we are having a semi-Slav defense. d4, d5, c4, c6, knight c3, knight f6, e3, e6, knight f3, a6, b3, bishop b4, bishop d2, knight b d7, bishop d3, castles, castles, bishop d6. And up until now, it's a repetition of the moves of Game 2, where Gelfand in this position played rook c1, but now he plays queen c2. e5, c takes d5, c takes d5, e4, e takes d4, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, e takes d5, knight f6, and I suspect h3 is the new move, at least at the top GM level. Bishop d7 from Anand, so rook a d1, and this time Gelfand planted the rook to the d file instead of the c file. And Anand played, he could have played rook c8 here, then queen b2, hitting the d4 pawn, so instead Anand chose rook e8 first. And with 16 moves played, Anand has spent 5 minutes on the clock. Gelfand has spent the double amount. He has spent 10 minutes at this time. But now Gelfand takes a think. And 20 minutes later he comes up with a move that seemed rather obvious. Knight takes d4. And this is one of the situations in a game where I wonder what goes through the mind of a player like Gelfand, or any other super GM for that matter. Did he spend all his 20 minutes on chess-related thoughts, like remembering the analysis from home preparation, position evaluation, calculation, and so on? Or is it actually possible that when he tries to recall the exact analysis from his preparation, he then perhaps remembers that when he had this very position on the board at home, wasn't that the day my wife was ill? Surely I would suspect a pro like Gelfand being able to focus 100% on chess in his games. And yet I cannot help thinking that there might sometimes pop up thoughts about his private life. Enough of my thoughts. Rook c8 was played by Anand, and now queen b2 would be met by bishop e5, pinning the knight on d4. So now queen b1 is the right move. And now if knight takes d5, then of course bishop takes h7. So and if rook c5, again hitting the d5 pawn, then bishop g5, and again black could have some problems on h7. So this is probably why Anand played h6. And GM Knightage commented this game on chessdom.com, and he had a funny observation. Notice how the d file is fully covered with pieces. And I agree with him, it's not every day you see a d file fully covered with pieces. In the game, Gelfand played knight f5, bishop takes, rook c5, and of course Anand wants to win the d5 pawn. It's essential. Rook f e1, and at this point Gelfand has spent 45 minutes on the clock. Anand has spent only 15 minutes. So I think it's fair to say already that Gelfand must come up with something more impressive with this semi-Slav if he wants to win from the white side. Anand seems very well prepared, and surely he has yet to be surprised by Gelfand. Rook d5 followed, and bishop c3. And in this position, the only hope for Gelfand lies in his bishop pair, but that should really not be enough. Rook takes, bishop c5, and Anand cannot possibly be worse here, I think. Queen c2 from Gelfand, bishop d4, bishop takes, rook takes d4, and now Gelfand doesn't even have the bishop pair anymore. He only has an endgame with bishop against knight. Queen c8, g6, bishop g4, h5. Queen takes, rook takes, bishop f3, and now we have this endgame, bishop versus knight, and with b6, Anand plans to put those queenside pawns on dark squares, and then he has nothing more to worry about, I think. Rook c1, rook d6, king f1, a5. And now that Anand's pawns are on secure squares, he can bring his king to the center. At least that's what I thought. But after king e2, Gelfand is of course also centralizing his king, and now Anand spent some time on the clock. And still I think king f8 was the move, but Anand played knight d5. Probably planning knight f4, knight e6, and knight c5, putting the knight on an active square. And of course, Gelfand could also go into a rook endgame. Bishop takes, rook c6, b5, but that would surely not be winning, I think. Instead, in the game, Gelfand played g3, and now this knight f4, e6, c5 maneuver is no longer possible. And then instead, Anand played knight e7. And Gelfand has only 15 minutes for 6 moves, Anand has almost an hour, and it's completely an equal position. So after bishop e4, king g7, the players agreed on a draw. Well, as I said earlier in the video, I don't think Gelfand gets too much in the semi-Slav against Anand. And Anand spent only just over an hour to secure another draw with the black pieces without getting into any sorts of trouble. So thank you for watching this video from the 4th game of the Chess World Championship match, and see you on my chess website at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.